All right. Once upon a time, there were two beautiful women. And these two women lived in a little house outside of a village. And one day, these women were having a discussion. And that discussion became a debate. And soon that debate became an argument. And before it came to blows, the two women decided to have a contest to see which one of them was most popular with the people in the village. So Truth was the first to try. Truth left the house and she wandered into the village. And there were people in the village and they were tending to their errands, talking to each other. But when they saw Truth coming, they slowly ended their conversations, went back into their houses, and by the time Truth reached the center of the village, there were very few people left in sight. Now Truth knew that she was going to lose this contest unless she did something drastic. So she began to remove her clothing, until she stood there in the middle of the village quite naked, and she started walking back to the house. And now when the people saw Truth coming, they ran screaming in the other direction, went into their houses, they shut the doors, they shut the windows. And by the time Truth reached the house, the village was deserted. Story came out of the house, came down to greet Truth. She said, "So, how did it go?" And Truth says, I don't understand. No matter where I went, the people ran from me. "Let me try," said Story. And she put on her mantle, and she put on her favorite jewelry and her hat, and then she walked into the village. And when the people saw Story coming, they threw open their doors and they came screaming out into the road to greet her. And by the time Story went through the village and then back to the house, everyone in the village was behind her, cheering and celebrating her visit. And Truth was quite humbled. And she said, "All right." She said, "Okay, you win. Obviously, Story is more powerful than Truth." But Story took her by the hands and said, "You don't understand. You see, nobody likes the truth, but they especially don't like the naked truth. But if you take Truth and wrap it in the mantle of Story, people are much more interested in hearing what you have to say." And Story removed her mantle and put it on Truth's shoulders. She gave her her jewelry and her favorite hat. And when Truth turned and faced the village, they opened their arms and they welcomed her and cheered for what Truth had to share with them. And that is the story of Truth and Story.